Yeah. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining. So today in the live webinar, we'll be discussing about the platform event flow, which is, as you all know, flow is quite a niche skill as of now, and a lot of maturity has been given to the flow. And one of the important features of the flow is the platform event triggered flow. So we'll be talking about that in this live webinar. The agenda for this today's webinar is a quick introduction about saasguru, about myself, obviously, and then about this session introduction. Then we'll go into a deep dive of the platform event triggered flows, where we'll understand what platform event flows are, and we'll have a quick demo. I have prepared a quick demo for you guys. Then we will talk about the considerations and the takeaways or the limitations about the platform event flow when you use it. What are the things you should think about, what you should consider. So we'll discuss about that. So a quick introduction about myself. My name is Vishal Gupta. I am based in Netherlands. I am working as a technology architect Salesforce in my organization Salesforce practice. I have 17 Salesforce certifications and also a few certifications around the accredited professional and Copado. I enjoy working on Lightning, I call myself as a Lightning enthusiast. I always focus on self-learning, so I am always seeking for the knowledge, and I like to play cricket, table tennis, snooker. I like to cook. I'm a foodie as well, so all fun part as well. So this is about me. You can connect me on the given social media links or on the Slack channel for saasguru, which we will show you as well, and you can we can have a connect. Now, quickly before we start the technicalities of the session about saasguru. So saasguru is basically one of the leading platforms, I would say, in the technical ecosystem, whether it be Salesforce, AWS, Google Cloud, whatever, where you can, enroll yourself and prepare for the certifications, improve your skills and improve your capability. It's very much tailored. It has a lot of AI features, a lot of concise and precise contents, and it's in a very gamified way where you can, compete with the other learners or other cohorts, and which really motivates you and makes it interesting for you to keep on learning. Now, in the Sadhguru community, when you enroll for the courses, there are different ways to enroll for the courses. There are different courses and a lot of courses, I would say. The certification vouchers are also available. Product tips are also available. There is a Slack channel where you get 24/7 live guru help, because there are a lot of gurus, me being one of the gurus. You have it in different time zones, and I will show you Slack of the saasguru. And you can also access the past live webinars, which I will show you in a moment. And obviously you can attend webinars like this in future, which will really help you to be part of the saasguru community and increase or make yourself more proficient into different skills. So if I go to the saasguru, let me know if you're able to see my saasguru screen. So on this saasguru, you can go and sign up with your email address. You will get a verification link, and then you can click on it, and then you log in. This is my login, where you can see I have enrolled for example, AWS Cloud Practitioner course. You can explore all the programs here in the explore program section. Let me just refresh. So in the explore program section, you can find all the list of programs, and you have different filter criteria where you can filter based on the technology. So these are the technologies that are offered by saasguru, Salesforce, Microsoft, ServiceNow, AWS, and others. And you can also select your career streams, and based on that, some preloaded courses which is suitable as per the filters you have selected, you can find. You can also even search here, and you can see that I have enrolled for AWS, which is coming in the active programs, and you can explore all other programs also. Then on the dashboard, you will see all kind of statistics, what you are doing, what is your progress, what is recommended, all those things. You can have your study plan here. You can go to the mock exams, and you can look at the mock exams, whether they are full mark exams or the topic practice tests. You can unlock them, and then obviously there is some fees for that. You can pay them, and you can unlock all these mock exams. Then you have a mentor connect. So in the mentor connect, a lot of mentors are available to provide help from beginner to intermediate to advanced level. You can select any of the mentors based on their skills and biography, and you can book a session with them. You can find, like for example, if you want to find me, you can just type my name and then you will find me somewhere. Let me just type the full name. Yeah, this is me. So you can find any mentor that you are comfortable with and you can book a session with them. There, the availabilities are there. Now you can go to the live classes as well. In the live classes, you can see all the classes. You can filter based on the upcoming classes, and you can also look at the previous classes. So for example, if you look at the upcoming classes, you can see this is the platform event which we are doing right now. If you want to look at any of the previous classes, you can go to the previous classes and you can just click on register. Because you're already logged in, you can register and you can view the recordings. That also helps you to view that as well. So then at the end you have the Slack community. So if you click on the Slack community, you will land here somewhere. This is the saasguru community. You can join the saasguru community again for free with your email address, and then you can see on the left hand side a lot of channels are there for ask for help, where you can see a lot of people are posting questions, and people are very interactive in this, which is very fantastic. And all of gurus are helping each others. Then you have a book a mentor session, so you can put a comment here if you want to book a mentor, and then you can those mentors can reach out to you and they can just let you know. You can go ahead and book a session on the saasguru website. You have some comedy clubs where people just post some jokes and nice fun time. Then you have different groups for the jobs, PD1, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, admins, and all those things. And then you can have a DM, obviously. So this is the Slack where you should definitely join, because this is a very big community. Right now, if you look at this book a mentor, you can see there are 17,338 people ask for help. Again, same number. So these are very big community and it's growing every day, because every day you will see someone joining and introducing themselves. I am this and I'm that. So this is a very fantastic. So now going back to the presentation, saasguru plus Slack demo. I already showed you the saasguru plus Slack demo, which is this, where we were looking at all the channels and all the DM options. So you can just join this, and I would really recommend you to join this. That this is really helpful. Also, in the saasguru website, from this mosaic button, you can just go ahead and you can look at all the programs that you have, or you can also click on new programs and then you go to the explore program page and you can register for the program whatever you want to. So for example, if you want to register for a Salesforce certified administrator prep, then you click on that, it loads. Now you have the option to pay here. You have different types of variants of it: full program, full study, and all mock exams. And what you can do, you can click on the select offers and save more here, and you can enter the coupon. So you can enter the coupon what you have seen in the PPT, which is Vishal 20, and you can apply that and you will get the discount on the payment that you have to do. So similarly, this is the same process for any program or any certification course that you want to enroll. So by the end of this webinar, what we will achieve is understanding on what is platform event trigger flows, how to create a platform event trigger flow and invoke them. And I will also explain you quickly what is a platform event, because that is very important to understand what is platform event flows. And then obviously the considerations and limitations, which are very important to learn anything. Now, before I move forward, I'll take a pause. Let me know if anyone has any questions. Ekta can also help. Let me know if you have any questions, feel free. Otherwise, we can just quickly go ahead and start the technicalities of the session. Or you can also post your questions in the chat or the Q&A box. I think Ekta will help you to reply in the real time. So feel free to do that as well. And feel free to interrupt me in between if you have any questions. If you don't understand anything, that is also totally okay. So before we see how platform event flows are created, how they work, and what I have prepared a small demo for you, it is important to understand what is platform events. Now, platform events is basically in a very simple language, it's just a pub sub model, okay, where one party is publishing an event and the other party is receiving it or consuming it. In the diagram on the left hand side, you can see that there can be multiple event producers or event publishers, and there can be multiple event consumers. One event can be consumed by multiple parties. The same event can be consumed by multiple parties, and one consumer can consume multiple events as well. And based on that, you can run your business processes. Now, the platform events that is available in Salesforce, when you create a platform event, it is simple to create in the same way like you create a custom object. You create a platform event, you create a fields in those platform events. The fields in those platform events basically represents the attribute that is getting passed in the payload once an event is published. Now, you see an event bus in between. What? Because Salesforce being the cloud platform and giving the option of creating platform events, whenever you are producing or publishing an event, doesn't matter Salesforce is doing it or doesn't matter any external party is publishing it, Salesforce has provided you an event bus, which is basically hosted on internet. It is a very scalable and a secure event bus. You can consider an event bus like a cylindrical pipeline where you publish the event and all the events are flowing through the event bus. Now, when you are publishing the events and when the consumer is receiving the events, those events are always processed in the order they are received by the consumer. So this is very important. Whenever you are publishing multiple events, make sure you are trying to handle it. Make sure you are having a overview of what business logic should run first, what business logic should run second, and accordingly you can design your platform events. Now, the platform events can be published by processes or flows. They can also be published by Apex, and they can also be published by APIs. Now, when you say APIs, the external apps or any external party can also publish platform events. And for that, again, same process. You have to create the platform event in Salesforce and you have to give the details to them, and they can publish the platform event through APIs. And in Salesforce, you can create any model which you want to use to subscribe to that platform events. So you can see it below that you can subscribe to the platform events again via processes or flows or Apex triggers or Comet clients or Lightning components. For example, in the Lightning components, you have the Lightning Imp API tag, which can be used to subscribe to the events. In flows, you can create a flow on the platform event object, which is basically represented by __ E as compared to __ C for the custom objects. Comet clients are obviously used by the external applications for both publishing and subscribing as well. So this is our overview of platform event and what a platform event is. I will show you how to create. I have already created one for you because that is a mandate to create a platform event flow. Now, what is the yes?
Can you please explain the Comet D clients?
Yes, Comet D basically is a mechanism. So it's not something which Salesforce provides you. It is basically an industry standard Comet D mechanism to implement a pub sub model. Now, because as I said, it is not for Salesforce. Any external applications who wants to subscribe to the platform events, they use Comet D. So basically there is a Comet D package that is available. It's entirely a pure Java code which you have to implement at your end, and then you have to not manipulate, I would say you have to make changes to make sure you put the correct syntax for the platform events that a Salesforce team should provide to the external team. And that Java code is basically, you can use any IDE like Eclipse or VS Code or something to import that Comet D client, extract that Java stubs classes basically, which is the keywords used in the Java, and then you can make the changes, and then you can make that code subscribe to the events. So when they even publish it or when they even subscribe it, they use Comet D. Even through APIs, what they can do, they can create platform events. And that can be because, as I said, platform events is created in a similar way as a custom object. So through APIs, they can create a records of the platform events in Salesforce, which will again create a platform event, and then whatever we have created to subscribe, that can also be a possibility. So now, after we have talked about platform event, what is the platform event flow? Now, when you go to Salesforce, you want to create a flow, you click on new button, you see a lot of options. One of the options is platform event triggered flow. You see a lot other options, but we are not going to talk about the other options in this webinar. We will focus on platform event triggered flow. Now, platform event triggered flow is basically an auto launch flow which runs in the backend. Okay, there is no UI for it. And as soon as you publish a platform event or create a platform event, this flow immediately triggers because it has subscribed to this platform event. And how that works, as I said, I will show in the demo. So we have to wait for that. Now, once any platform event is created, whatever logic you have written in the flow, the way you create the flow is still same. Doesn't matter you are creating a record triggered flow or you are creating an auto launch flow. In the same way, you have to create a platform event flow. The only difference is, for example, if you are creating a flow, let's say on an account object or an opportunity object, then you go, you create a flow, you select an object as account, whether you want to have a before or an after, and whether you want to have some entry criteria. Same thing you have to do for the platform event triggered flow. You have to select the platform event object, which is basically the standard platform events. I will show again, as I said, and then again you can select before, after, and you can then have your business logic. Business logic can be anything. You can send a chatter, you can send an email, you can create a record, you can update a record, even you can make a call out, because in the flow you also have an option for making call outs. You can call an Apex class. The only thing is, this flow gets triggered or this flow gets invoked when a platform event is published, and this flow subscribes to that platform event. And after that, you can just have unlimited imagination to implement a business logic in that flow. Now, as I mentioned, I have created a demo for you guys. So I'll go to the demo. Let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes,
Can
we
you
are.
see the flow screen?
Yes.
Okay. So what happens is, I have created a flow here, but before that, I will just show you. When you click on a new flow, you have to select the platform event triggered flow and you have to just create. Okay. So when you click on create, you see this base template where you have to choose the platform event. Now, if you select here, you can see my demo event, which is represented by __C, which is always the case for platform. You select your platform event and then you click on done, and then you start creating your logic. But before we do that, I will show you the platform event that I have created for you. So in the setup, what you can do, you can go to the platform events like this, and here you can click on new platform event, right? So if you click on a new platform event, you can give the label, the plural, the object name, and then the event type is by default high volume, and then the publish behavior is two options are there: publish after commit and publish immediately. Now, if you look at the way when you create a record in Salesforce or update any record in Salesforce, how it behaves, you have a set of a order of execution, right? Now, when you create a record or an update a record in Salesforce, there's a two things. One is the record is not committed in the database, or the record is committed in the database, and based on that the order of executions are different. Before the record is committed, there are a lot of things what executes, and after a record is committed in the database, that means actually the data is committed or saved in the database, a lot of other things execute in the order of execution. So similarly, for the platform events, you can decide the publish behavior. When do you want to publish the event? So if you, for example, create a record and immediately after creating the record, you want to publish the event, you have to select publish immediately. Now, in this case, the drawback is if you do that and because of any error, whether it could be trigger or validation or anything, any error happens and the record does not get committed to the database, even in that case also the event has been published. Now, if you have any business logic which is running on that event, whatever data you are getting in that event, that might not be valid anymore. Second option is publish after commit, which is basically when the record is successfully committed in the database, then the events will be published, and when whatever data you get in that event, that will be valid because that data is actually available in the database. So these are the two difference. By default it is selected as publish after commit. We'll go with that. The option is the deployment status. We will deploy it. This is similar to the custom object because it makes it available for use. So for the purpose of this demo, I have already created a my demo event where you can see demo. So once you create it, you will come on this screen. This is a similar screen like a custom object that you used to see in Classic. Now, similar to the custom objects, you can create custom fields and relationships in the platform event. What are these? These are basically the attributes that is passed in an event. So once you publish an event, in this case, I have created two custom fields, which is message and source. Whenever an event will be published, these two attributes will be available. Similar to the custom object, for example, if you have a custom object, let's say XYZ, and if you have a field, let's say name, revenue, amount or something, how do you access it? You access it with the name of those fields. Similarly, in the platform events, you have to create the fields, and when you are subscribing to that platform events, you have to access them with the name of the fields, right? So now you can also create triggers on this because triggers can also subscribe to the platform events, and you can see all the subscription list wherever you have subscribed to this platform event. All those metadata, whether it is an Apex or whether it is a flow or any process, those will be available in the here. So you can identify very easily where is this platform event subscribed. This was not a feature earlier, but recently this has been introduced, and which is very good. Otherwise, it was very difficult to identify where these platform events were subscribed. Now, after we have created a platform event, what we do is, I showed you how to create the flow on the platform event triggered flow. Now, if I click on edit here, you can see I have selected the my demo event and then clicked on done. Then after that, what I have done for the purpose of this demo, again, I have created a custom object with the name of a platform event message. In this custom object, I have created two fields, name and source. Okay, so sorry, not the name and source, the message and the source. This is the standard field, so that I can store the message and source that I have created in the platform event here. Now, it is not a mandate to have the same name. You can create any field. It's just a mapping that you have to do. It could be any field that you can map your message or the source on any field of the object. But just to make it simple, I have created the exact same name of the platform event fields in the custom object. So what I did is, what the flow does, I will tell you. The flow is simple. As soon as a platform event is published, this flow runs and it creates a record in the platform event object. Now I have given the short form to this object as PEM object, which is platform event message object record. You can see that I have given the name as create PEM object, where I have selected the object as platform event message. You will see all the options listed here, and you can see the platform event message here. Then you select use separate resources and literal values, and then here you have to do the mapping. Now you can see, because I have selected platform event message, here the field you will select as message. This is already appearing because we have created this object. Then you select the field source, and then because this platform event is created on the platform my demo event object, if you want to look for the message, you go to the records, which you can see the my demo event. You click on it and you will see the fields. You click on it and you will see the message and the source. Now UUID, reply ID, these are standard fields for any platform event, but these are the custom fields that we have created, message and source. So we select the message because we have to map the message with the message and source with the source. As I said, you can add more fields. For that, you have to create more fields in the platform event and then more fields into a custom object, and you can map it. Okay. So once that is done, because it's a create record element, immediately after the flow, your record in the PEM object will be created. And then what I am doing is, after that, I am giving a chatter. Now in the chatter, you can see I am just mentioning a chatter message in the chatter, and then I am targeting a user. Okay. Now the chatter message is basically a simple variable. Okay, I have created a variable and I have given a simple chatter message. I will show. You can just put any text what you want. You can also create an entire template. So it's just based on the business requirement that you want to create a chatter, but you can create a chatter for that. I'm sorry for this screen. Then I have given a target user ID. I have selected user.id. User.id is basically the user who has invoked the flow is represented by user.id. So basically a chatter message will be sent to the user, because I will be doing this demo and I am the admin. So I have just given the name as chatter to admin, and then your flow ends. Now this is a very simple demo for the example, but this part is like you can have lot of complex business requirement. As I said, you can call Apex class, you can make HTTP callouts. For example, you can just click on the plus button and all the options that you see in the flow, whether you want to do assignments, whether you want to iterate on the list of records, you want to have a collection sorting, you want to have a decision elements, you want to create, update, get record, you can do anything. Lot of the action elements are available here. You can create HTTP callouts, you can send emails, you can create account, leads, contacts, tasks, anything. And even from here, you get the pre-configured action items. And this is how I use the post to chatter method from the flow. Okay. Now let's quickly check the demo. Now the way I explained you earlier, that the way to publish the platform events are basically various ways: processes, flows, Apex, APIs. In this demo, I have created a quick script which will publish the platform event. Now, similar to the way you create custom object records in Apex, it is very much similar to that. What I have done, I have created a list of my demo event, and then I have created a record, an instance of a my demo event, where I have sent a message as hello webinar participants, and I have sent the source as Apex, and then I have added this record into the list. Now instead of an insert statement, there is a standard method of the event bus class, which is event bus.publish, and you can pass here. Because now you see that I have passed the list, that means you can create or publish multiple platform events with this single statement. So if I add one more line of similar to line number 2, or I can create more records, hello webinar participants 1, hello webinar participants 2, 3, 4, 5, I can create those records, add to this list and put it here, and it will publish it. For this demo, I'm just doing it one, but yes, you can do multiple. So what I will do, I will execute it. Let's see what happens. And before that, I have this platform event messages. You can see there is one sample message already created. This looks like this, where you have demo platform event message, sources Apex PEM 1001. So what I'm expecting is when we do again, there should be another record created. So let's go to the developer console and then publish this. So now once you published it, let's go back to the message, refresh it, and you can see we have a record created PEM 0002, where you have the message as hello webinar participants and source as Apex. But still one thing is pending, which is where is the chatter that we send. So for the chatter, we go to the profile section. And you can see the chatter here. Just now you can see the time, event subscribed and record created successfully, because this is a hard code static message that I have put in the chatter template. As I said, you can create a very beautiful template. You can create some dynamic binding variables also there, which is as per your business requirement. But for the purpose of the demo, I just kept a static hard code message. When I was testing it yesterday, this was the message, which is 13 hours ago, and this is just now. So now the chatter is also there. So this way you can publish the events, and this flow is subscribing to it. Now other thing I can also show you is we have published the event from Apex. Now let's say you want to publish it from a flow. So what you can do with that? You can maybe create a record triggered flow. Okay. If you want to, let's say you are having creating an flow on an opportunity. Whenever an opportunity is created and I have no condition requirements, I'm going with the after version of it. I click on done. Now what do? I go there, I will click on create record, and then I will just say as publish event, and then I will just use separate variable, and then now I have to select the create a record of this variable. What will I do? Now this is the platform event, sorry, my bad, my demo event. So this is the platform event that we created. So we select my demo event, and in the my demo event we have created two attributes. Then this is a message, and then here we select a source, and then here what you can do, if you want to map any opportunity field into those messages, you can do that. Like for example, select here and then do that. Otherwise you can just give a static message also, and then put the source as flow, and then you can click on done. Now once you click on done, it will create a record of platform. So whenever an opportunity will be created, this triggered flow, record triggered flow will run, and it will immediately create a record of the my demo event platform event. As soon as the record of the my demo platform event is created, the other flow, which is basically our platform event triggered flow, that will run, and it will again create a record in the PEM object, and it will send a chatter to the admin. So this way you can publish an event from the flow also. Okay. And I already showed a way how to publish the event through Apex. So this is also you can do through Apex. If you want to do it through API by yourself, what you can do is you can just create a record in the my demo event platform event using any REST API. Also, it's the same way that you create records in the custom objects. You can do that as well, and it will create a record, and immediately that flow will trigger. So any question, any part, anything which is not clear, let me know.
Can you give a live example which is being used?
Sorry?
To get a better picture of how this can be, can you have any live example that you have used in your projects or anywhere?
Yes, I can give you the live example. It's a good question. I was actually about to cover some use cases, so I will tell you. So basically, one of the live example, not one, there are many live examples. One of the, if you talk about let's say a CPQ app, which is a cost price and quoting app, configure price quoting app. So generally what happens is, if any customer is using Salesforce for the CPQ, right? So then there are different versions, whether they want to only have CPQ in the system, or they also want to have an order management. Now for the order management, customers have, generally most of the times customers have their ERP applications where they have all the order management implemented. Now what happens is, in Salesforce, when the salesperson is using the CPQ journey to create the code and something, at the end they want to convert the code to the order. Now what happens in that case, because the order management is not in Salesforce, it is in the ERP, so the data has to be passed. Now because as a salesperson, they don't care if they click on convert to order button, they don't care for a real-time response or an acknowledgement in Salesforce from ERP. Right? They will just click on the button, and then they will just assume that the order has been created in the ERP system. So in that case, there are two ways. One is you can implement the REST APIs, right, to have a real time, or you can just a fire and forget architecture you can use. But the other way is PubSub model, which is your platform events, where you can pass the critical data, the critical inputs for the codes that is used to create the order, and then that platform event is subscribed by the ERP system, and then they can create the order. Similarly, now one of the key things as compared to the REST API, when you talk about the platform events are not used for very heavy interactions or very heavy data load, like not passing very huge amount of data. It is to make sure that you are passing very critical data from one system to another system without having a dependency. It's a loosely coupled pub-sub model. You just publish and the other system subscribe to it. Second way is that uh, there is a service care in it was in one of my project. I was working in an airlines project, and in the Salesforce the case management was implemented, but there was a backend team which was actually monitoring the case life cycle. Now what was, and that they were using a different kind of an statistics and analytics application which was called as Grafana. There they were having like a very big statistical map which is running on a big screen. So now what used to happen, as soon as a case used to close, they wanted to receive the data in real time. So again, and they were like did not wanted to implement a REST API, because again for the REST API you have to go with the entire OAuth process, credentials you have to use, and depending on different customers you can also use certificates and all those things. To remove all those complications, and they only wanted bare minimum 5 to 6 attributes. Now best part of platform events, I showed you that you can have custom fields. You can also create text area long fields in which you can put the entire JSON. So in a very concise way, you can send a lot of data. So in that case, as soon as the case was closed, Salesforce used to publish an event in which they used to pass the case number, the case created time, the case closure time, and there were some other business specific attributes or the fields, I would say, in the case that were immediately published. And that the other system used to subscribe to that, they used to get to it, and then they used to process as per they wanted. So these are some of the examples where you can use the platform events, which is basically a pub-sub model to interact between two systems.
Can we make it synchronous, or they're always asynchronous?
No, they're always asynchronous. It is not synchronous. A pub-sub model is always asynchronous.
Not necessarily. I mean, depends on the softwares. Because I worked on software which we get an acknowledgement.
Platform events are asynchronous.
Okay. So we just send and we don't care.
Yeah,
we get a confirmation back.
Because what will happen is when you will publish the platform event, because you don't know in the event bus how many other platform events are published. So what will happen is the once you publish the transaction in which you publish the event and the subscriber in which they receive, those are two different transactions, and it is asynchronous. So it is not synchronous, because what will happen is if it is synchronous, then your entire transaction will be connected to each other, right? And then it is again a dependency, because then your publishing party is waiting for the consuming party to respond with an acknowledgement. That is not the aim of a pub-sub model.
Then generally, what I worked on people's also, what used to happen is just like you example you gave, where the quote is sent to, when the final quote has to be converted into an order. So the basic details go, and in Salesforce I get back the order ID, order number.
Correct.
And I update my quotation table, that particular record with that order. So I know this is complete. Okay.
You are correct. You are correct. So you get the order ID in the system. You are totally correct. Indeed, that happens. But then that again depends on project to project. Now, in your case, the system who is receiving the code details, they are immediately processing the code and creating the order and returning it back, right? But in some cases, what would happen is once the code is going to the ERP system or any other system, there might be a validating party in between who wants to validate the code before they want to create an order, right? So there might be a manual step in, there might be some validation. In that case, it cannot be synchronous, because then the user has to wait. So in that case, what can happen is they receive the data, they validate the code, They create the order, and then there are two ways. They can also send a platform event with the order ID, and that gets updated in Salesforce, or they can make a REST call. Again, in the REST call, as compared to platform event, as I told you, again, you have to implement that entire OAuth mechanism, which is not applicable to the platform event, right? That can also happen.
Okay.
Because they have sent the order ID to Salesforce, right? So they don't care whether it is getting updated in Salesforce or not, because their responsibility was to create the order in ERP and to send it to Salesforce, correct?
Yeah.
So they just created and published it.
Yeah.
So it can depend on the business process, how they want it, because every system, every business has a very different flavor of CPQ
Correct.
and the entire application lifecycle management.
Yeah, many times, because I have experienced that everyone wants a proof. Okay, no, did the record go and sit there, or no, it never reached us. So somewhere in the firewall, maybe, or the ports need to be opened and all that architecture thing.
Yes,
data gets lost.
I agree. Then it's not that platform event is a one solution applicable to all the places, because as you mentioned, it's a very deep technical good point, because you have like AMZ application, DMZ application, which is basically demilitarized zones, which are inside the proxy, which is like in on premises, and then you have cloud. So customers have different requirements that they put a proxy in between, that the cloud system talks to the proxy talks to the DMZ firewall, and then the firewall passes the data to the on-premise, right?
Absolutely.
In those cases, platform event might not be a good solution. Then in that case, you have to go through the REST APIs, because in between you have proxies, right? Yeah. But when you are talking a point to point, then it is good to have a platform events. But when you are having like middlewares or proxy layers, I don't think platform event is a good solution, because you need to know from the proxy that your request has reached to the proxy and they have successfully responded to 100, and then you can have a satisfaction that the data has passed through. But that will not happen in case of platform events. So it all depends how your IT architecture is there. Any other questions?
Again, I'm not too sure. I'm just trying to evaluate the situations that I have gone through. Many times there are third-party systems where we drop a file in a location, and we have another flow, for example, in which keeps on pinging that folder in a third-party system. The moment the file is dropped there, we pick it up. So it keeps on checking every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then load the data in our Salesforce system. So will platform event help in
that? Yes. That is one of the best examples. What you have mentioned is basically any requirement where one system has to keep on continuously poll, or they have to poll the other system for any status update or for any availability of the data. That implementation is the best place where you can use platform events, because in that case what happens is the system who is polling continuously, they are consuming a lot of resources to keep on polling, and the other system is also heavily loaded because of multiple poll requests. And poll request is what? It can be an API call, it can be anything, correct? And then your system has to continuously communicate every 10 seconds or 5 minutes. To avoid that, when your data is available, then your system, you will tell the system, right? It's like you make a phone call to the other system, hey, I'm available. It's not like you call every 5 minutes, hey, are you available? Are you available?
Correct.
So it is one of the best examples.
Thanks, Vishal.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the considerations and the limitations. Now, as I mentioned, if you remember that in the order in which the platform events are received, they are processed in the same order. So if multiple processes means flow, Apex or anything, are publishing the events, that we cannot guarantee that in which order they will receive, or they received by the consumer. So in whatever order the consumer receives it, or the receiving party or the subscriber receives it, they will process the event in that order. Okay, so there is no guarantee. It's similar to triggers. If you create multiple triggers, let's say on an after insert or an after update, multiple triggers, there is no guarantee in which order those triggers will run. It is similar for that. Okay, and when I was showing you the flow example, you saw there were two standard fields, UUID and replay ID. So replay ID is something, a unique ID for every event, and you can use to play around with some deep logics if you want to identify different orders of the events. Now, a flow can maximum receive 200 event messages in a single batch. Sorry, 2000 event messages in a single batch, and the order of the events, whatever has been part of the batch, is preserved. And the events in the batch, that entire batch, so basically 2000. So if you say like 5000 events you have published, 2000 events can be accommodated in a flow in a single batch, and in whatever order they were published, they go into that batch. Okay. Now, in flows, you also have a pause element. If someone would have implemented flow and you would have implemented a pause element, there's a very good feature in the pause element, is that you can pause a flow at a certain point, and if you open that pause flow element, there is an option start when a platform event is received. So what happens is, whenever you are creating any platform event, it obviously invokes a flow which is subscribed to it. But in any flow, if there is a pause element which is waiting for an event, you can also subscribe to a platform event for that pause element. So from that point where that flow interview, because whenever a flow is initiated, every thread of a flow is called as a flow interview. So wherever the flow interview is paused, that flow interview starts from there itself when the platform events are received. Debug logs, same like process builder and all these things. For the flows, debug logs appear under the automated process username, and flow interview always runs in the context of the user who has published the event. For example, I published the event from the Apex, and when the chatter was sent to me, user.id, it was going to me, because the user was by default referring to the user who has published the event and eventually invoked the flow, which was myself. So these are some considerations and limitations you should keep in mind when you are working on a process platform event process flow. Now, what's next is, I would recommend to understand platform events. Though I have already covered platform events in detail, I have showed you how to create. You will not find much separate or a different technical details how to create platform events and whatever, but you can read some more theory about it architecturally, how it works. I have also showed you the architecture. You have event bus and how it works in the internet, how it is published, but you can read more about it on Salesforce trailheads. You can read more about flows, and you can create. There are nice flow super badges that you can complete, and you can learn platform event super flows. You can create your DevOps, trilogs, and then you can create the events you can publish and subscribe in different ways: Apex, triggers, APIs, commit declines. Commit declines are a little bit difficult to implement, so even if you avoid that, is not a problem, because generally they are 99.9% of the time for the external parties, not for Salesforce guys. Lightning components you can use for the platform events. So you can do all this kind of practice, which is really helpful, and this is always very helpful when you talk about integration, this platform event flow. Then I would recommend the saasguru trainings, which is basically, and the recommendeds are PD1 and PD2, because these are advanced concepts. These are concepts not very much for admin. These are basically for developers and architects. So you can definitely go and do the saasguru trainings and enroll for the PD1 and the PD2 courses. And I would really recommend to do these recommended saasguru trainings and practice. Okay, so with this we come to end of the session.